What's up guys, it's Austin. Welcome to today's vlog slash storytime video. It's been so long since I've done a storytime video. I couldn't even tell you guys when I've done my last storytime. I think it was like maybe a few months ago, possibly maybe even 6 months ago. I'm not sure. These are stories I definitely have not told, I don't think, at all on video, at least one of them. So these stories happened when I went to Saskatchewan. One happened, so as you guys know, I went to Saskatchewan just last year in 2021 in summertime. And in 2020, I also went there in summertime. In both of those times, creepy stuff happened. So let's start with 2020. I go to Saskatchewan to go see my cousins. I never think anything is haunted there. I really just go there just to hang out. I've never gotten a weird vibe from my cousin Matthew's house because that's where I stay. I stay in the basement of their house in my cousin's old room where she used to live in the basement. She has a closet in there and it basically kind of connects with Matthew's closet. So when Matthew is in his closet, it sounds like it's coming from her closet. Okay, so this is where it gets really creepy. I was staying over there in that room as I always do. You guys have seen it in multiple videos. I'm on my computer, I'm just kind of like chilling. I'm not really looking at anything scary at all. I'm not thinking like, oh, this house is haunted. Before this, Matthew actually told me he had like a weird experience in his house. And I'm just like, oh really? And I just kind of brushed it off and didn't really think anything of it because I never thought, you know, that his house is haunted at all. I'm sitting there, 3 a.m. starts to roll around. I'm watching videos, just chilling, and all of a sudden, I hear noises coming from inside the closet. My mind didn't really go straight to like spirits and stuff because I'm just like, okay, he watches my videos, he's probably messing with me. Well, that's what I thought. So the noises continue. I'm just like, okay, he knows that 3 a.m. is like the witching hour type of thing. He's messing with me. So I go up to the closet, I put my ear up to it, and I hear scratching, like kind of like this down the wall. I'm like, okay, I know that they don't have a rodent problem. I know that they don't have animals anymore. They used to have a dog, but now they don't anymore. What could that possibly be? The only thing I could think of is that it was Matthew. I wake up the next morning, I'm having lunch. I just finished eating and showering, and I went into his room to kind of like call him out on it. It's like, hey, funny joke last night. Like, I know it was you kind of thing. So I go into his room, I'm just like, hey, Matthew. He's like, yeah. He takes his headphones out of his ears because he was listening to a video. I'm just like, how long were you willing to take that joke last night? And he's just like, what do you mean? I'm just like, well, I heard something at 3 in the morning. It sounded like you were digging around in your closet, making like scratching marks, going down the wall, trying to scare me at like 3 in the morning. He's like looking at me all confused, like, what the heck are you talking about, man? I'm getting chills just talking about this. I'm just like, please tell me that was you in the closet last night. There's no way that this house is haunted. He's just like, I have no clue what you're talking about. That wasn't me. And I just stood there frozen. I like chills went all through my body, kind of like right now. You're sure that wasn't you? You didn't just wake up, try to scare me, and you just kind of forgot about it until now? He's like, no. He kept denying it. He actually had like a serious look on his face and didn't really say too much. He just denied it. He said, no, I didn't do it. From that point on, from that visit, I did not hear any other scary noises. I did not hear anything. So yeah, that night I heard something from in the closet specifically. Like, they don't have a rat problem. Like, they don't have rats in their walls or anything. I'm just like, I know what I heard. I thought I heard rummaging from inside that closet of his. It sounded like it was coming from the closet in the room I was staying in because of how they're connected. That's that story time. This next one happened just last year. So this is 2021 summertime. So I'm staying in Cardiff again. Same area, same basement, but this time, this story did not happen in the basement. This happened at the farm where we usually go out to have dinner and hang out with the family. We go there quite often when I'm there. Me and my cousins are all there, and their cousins were also over. So they weren't exactly like part of my part of the family. There was a whole bunch of family there basically. So my cousins were there and then their cousins were there. We're at the farm and I told everybody like, hey, I brought my EMF reader with me. Do you guys kind of want to see how it works? And they're just like, oh, we should take your EMF reader into the woods and see if anything happens. Now, these woods, again, I did not think that these woods were haunted. Yeah, at night they look a little bit creepy, but woods and forests at night always look creepy. Like, that doesn't mean they're necessarily haunted. I mean, they could be. I mean, I believe in the paranormal 100%. Like, I didn't think these woods were haunted. I thought they were just a fun area to hang out. The kids, they have this like fort in there and everything. It's a fun little area. So we're going into the forest. I'm bringing my EMF reader with me, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm not gonna call out to any spirits. I'm not gonna ask for a sign from any spirits or anything because I'll probably get blamed for it if they get scared from the other adults that are there. So I don't do any of it. And And of course, every cousin in the family in Saskatchewan has watched my YouTube videos, all my younger cousins. That includes Drayden, Corvin, Blaze, Nevaeh, like all of them. All of them have watched my videos. They start calling out to spirits. I can't remember who exactly, but there was a few that were. They were just like, show yourself, like give us a sign, prove to us that you're here. And I'm just like, oh God, this is something I'm gonna get blamed for if something happens. And this is where it gets interesting. So we're walking past their little like fort, which is made out of like giant branches and like twigs and stuff. And we get about 6 feet past it, and they keep asking for signs from spirits, and they keep on calling out to it and calling out to it, like, is there anything here? Prove yourself, show yourself, do something. The EMF reader, no word of a lie, goes right into the yellow. If you're wondering what an EMF reader is, I have it sitting right here. It detects spirits. That happens, and immediately the kids just start freaking out. I'm just like, oh no. And I'm freaking out too, because I didn't think the woods were haunted. I'm just like, oh my God, like the EMF reader, it just went off. And then Drayden just like books it right out of the forest. Like, he hates talking about this story. I always try to not bring it up when I'm over there now. He just doesn't like talking about it anymore because it terrified him that much. And then shortly after that, Corvin followed him out of the forest, and then those two were gone. The other kids stayed with me because they wanted to keep investigating. They thought it was cool. They thought it was scary. They thought, wow, like stuff is happening. I actually want you guys to let me know. Do you guys want me to do possibly a haunted video, if I'm allowed, in that forest by the house? Like, if I get permission from them to do that, would you guys want to see that? I think it'd be kind of cool, maybe just to go there at night and see what I could capture. Of course, we all go into the house and the kids tell everybody. They're just like, we went into the woods, the EMF reader went off, it went into the yellow, it went into the yellow. After my aunt comes in there and calms them down, we get in the car, we're leaving the farm, it's nighttime, and she's like, so what happened in there? I'm just like, I swear it wasn't my fault, I didn't do anything. They were calling out for spirits. I didn't do any of that because I knew I would probably get in trouble for it, and it went into the yellow. She was like, really? And I'm like, yeah, it actually went into the yellow in there. I was not expecting it to go off. I was not expecting anything to happen, to be honest. And I'm just like, they were terrified. I'm sure they didn't think anything would happen either. And like, I've heard from the kids, they've seen figures in the woods. I've heard from a couple of them that they've seen figures in the woods and everything. I don't know if those stories are completely true because I haven't really experienced that type of thing. I've heard weird things in the woods. Like, for example, the same summer, me and Corvin, we go into the woods and we're sitting in the fort that they made. And all of a sudden we hear this like twig snapping. It was starting to get a little bit dark. It wasn't like completely dark, but just like dusk. And we start to hear snapping. We were talking about haunted stuff when we were in there. Maybe we were kind of like acknowledging something was there a little bit, and that's what was making stuff happen. We start to freak out a little bit. I try to ignore it. So we start hearing noises, and that's pretty much where it stopped. Then we started hearing coyotes, and then we had to like rush into the house because it was getting closer and closer. Now you're probably thinking, dude, it could have just been those coyotes. No. There were no coyotes. Like, the snapping sounds were very close. There was no animals nearby. There was nothing. And you know, it brought me back to that part where the EMF reader went off in the woods and went into the yellow. The freaking yellow, guys. Like, it was strong. It was a strong signal. And my aunt was just like, are you sure it wasn't one of the power lines? And I'm just like, there's no power lines near the forest though. The only power pole is near the house. There's no power poles along the road from what I'm aware of. Like, I've only ever seen one near the house. And for the EMF reader to sense an electromagnetic field, you have to be pretty dang close to those power lines, and we were nowhere in range of them, and it went off in that forest. Now, I talked to the grandma and grandpa that own that farm. Well, I talked to the grandma. She said she doesn't think that there's anything weird going on there, or that anyone has died. Like, I asked her like kind of like the history of the property, and she's like, I don't think anyone's died here. She did say that a horse had died on the property, and it was around that area, so she's thinking that it could have been like one of the animals' spirits. Like, it might not be a human or anything, it could be like an animal, because like sometimes animals, when they die, their spirit will pass on, and you'll sometimes experience them in your house, like if your dog has died or your cat or something like that. I'm just like, oh, that kind of makes sense. But I'm just like, are they kind of just like saying that just to like not scare us? I don't know. I really don't know. Because like, even though you may not think a place is haunted, months after it could be haunted, like you could have gotten like a haunted attachment from somewhere. Like, some people really mistake that. You could go to somewhere as simple as a coffee shop, or like a workout place like a gym or whatever, or heck, a swimming pool, and you could get a spiritual attachment follow you home. And like, the place won't even be haunted, but you gotta realize there could be spirits like all around us. Just because the place doesn't have a site that says, ooh, this place is deemed as haunted, doesn't mean it doesn't have like a spirit or or two, they just might not be super active like other places are. So you could get an attachment from a coffee shop or like a school, a gym, like it doesn't matter where you are. You could get an attachment from anywhere. And as you guys know, I got an attachment just last year, which is how the Shadow Man series started. I went to the ruins. It was a bad idea because I got a demonic attachment. I still feel like it's here in the house still. I've stated in a couple videos recently that this thing has gone off like near the bookshelf over there. I haven't recorded that before, but like it's done it. I've gotten it on camera before, this thing going off in our house. And like before all this Shadow Man stuff and all that, our house, it was haunted, but not to that extreme. So I'm just like, this is definitely a different thing we're dealing with here. And then a viewer pointed out that there was eyes in the back of the tunnel of the video in part 2 of the haunted ruins. And then it just kind of spiraled into the Shadow Man series, and that's how it all began. But no, going back to the Saskatchewan stuff where I experienced those 2 haunted things, the creepy closet and the woods, I have no explanation for that. I don't know how those 2 things happened. So yeah, I guess don't be so quick to say that some places aren't haunted, because they very well might be. I didn't think those places were haunted, and stuff happened. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Peace.